Poor creatures. After Eva's death, St. Clair became in many respects another man. He began to think more soberly and practically of his relations to his servants, enough to make him extremely dissatisfied with his past and present. And one thing he did soon after his return to New Orleans, and that was to commence the legal steps necessary to Tom's emancipation. In the meantime, he became attached to Tom more and more. In all the wide world, there was nothing that reminded him so much of Eva. He kept him constantly about him, and Tom continually followed his young master. "Well, Tom," said St. Clair one day, "I'm going to make a free man of you, so pack your trunk and get ready to set out for Kentucky." The sudden light of joy that shone in Tom's face rather displeased St. Clair. He did not like that Tom should be so ready to leave him. "You haven't had such very bad times here that you need be in such a hurry, Tom," he said dryly. "No, no, master, it isn't that. It's being a free man. That's why I'm so glad." "Why, Tom? Don't you think that it is better for you to live here than to be free?" "No, indeed, Master St. Clair," said Tom with a flash of energy. "No, indeed." "Why, Tom? You couldn't possibly have earned by your work such clothes and such living as I have given you." "I know all that, Master St. Clair. Master has been too good. But, Master, I'd rather have poor clothes, a poor house, poor everything, and I have them mine, than have the best ones but belonging to any other. I think it's natural." "I suppose so, Tom. And you'll go off and leave me in a month or so," said St. Clair, who was evidently displeased. But then he said in a gay tone, "And to say the truth, I understand you indeed, my boy." And getting up, he began to walk about the room. "Not while Master is in trouble," said Tom. "I'll stay with Master as long as he wants me, if I can be of any use." "Not while I'm in trouble, Tom," said St. Clair, looking sadly out of the window. "And when will my trouble be over?" "Ah, Tom, you soft, silly boy. I won't keep you till that day. Go home to your wife and children and give my love to all." St. Clair walked up and down the room for some more minutes, and then said, "I believe I'll go down the street for a few moments and hear the news." He took his hat and went out. Tom followed him to the gate and asked if he had to attend him. "No, my boy," said St. Clair. "I shall be back in an hour." Tom sat down in the veranda. It was a beautiful moonlight evening, and he sat watching the rising and falling spray of the fountain and listening to its murmur. Tom thought of his home and that he should soon be a free man and able to return to it. He thought how he would work to buy back his wife and boys. He felt the muscles of his arms with a sort of joy as he thought they would soon belong to himself, and how much they could do to work out the freedom of his family. Then his thoughts passed on to the beautiful Eva, and he thought till he almost fancied that her bright face and golden hair were looking upon him out of the spray of the fountain. He fell asleep and dreamed. He saw her coming towards him, just as she used to come, her cheeks bright and her eyes radiant with delight. Tom was awakened by a loud knocking and the sound of many voices at the gate. He hastened to open it. Several men came bringing a body, wrapped in a cloak and lying on a shutter. The light of the lamp fell on the face, and Tom gave a wild cry of amazement and despair that rang through all the galleries as the men advanced with their burden to the open parlour door where Miss Ophelia sat knitting. St. Clair had turned into a cafe to look through an evening paper. As he was reading, a quarrel arose between two gentlemen in the room who were both drunk. St. Clair received a stab in the side with a knife, which he was attempting to wrest from one of them. The house was full of cries and screams. The servants were tearing their hair, throwing themselves on the ground, or running about with loud cries. Tom and Miss Ophelia alone seemed to have some presence of mind, for Marie was in strong hysterical convulsions. At Miss Ophelia's direction, one of the sofas was hastily prepared, and the wounded man laid upon it. St. Clair had fainted through pain and loss of blood, but then he revived, opened his eyes and looked fixedly at everybody. Then he looked around the room. His eyes travelled over every object, and finally they rested on his mother's picture. The doctor now arrived and made his examination. It was evident, from the expression of his face, that there was no hope. All he could do was to dress the wound. The servants were about the doors and windows of the veranda, sobbing. "Now," said the doctor, "we must turn all these men and women out. All depends on his being quiet." St. Clair opened his eyes and looked fixedly at the servants. "Poor creatures," he said, and an expression of bitter self-reproach passed over his face. After a while, he laid his hand on Tom's, who was kneeling beside him, and said, "Tom, poor fellow." "What, master?" said Tom earnestly. "Poor Tom," said St. Clair, pressing his hand. "I'm dying." "If you would like a clergyman," said the doctor. St. Clair hastily shook his head and murmured something softly to himself. The effort of speaking exhausted him. The paleness of death fell upon him, but with it came a beautiful expression of peace.